Good morning, students. Students, I am your assistant teacher, Mr. Anil Kumar Swain. Welcome you back to the Gyan Jyoti online classes. Students, today we will complete the chapter number 3 and 5 exercises. Okay. Yesterday we completed the chapter number 1 and 2. That was chapter number 1 was the Earth and the solar system, and chapter number 2 was latitudes and longitudes. Today, chapter number 3 is rotation and revolution, and chapter number 5 is rings of the Earth. So, the first one, student, in exercises section, we will see section A. Choose the right option to complete the sentences below. So there are some options given, means it is type of multiple choice questions. Okay. The first one is, if the earth did not rotate. Okay. But it is a continuous process. Earth rotates every time, every moment, every second. So what are the four options, students? One side of the earth would always be in sunlight. One side facing the sun would always have winter. There would be a change of season every 3 months. Okay. So, what is the answer? What will be the answer, students? Answer will be one side of the earth would always be in sunlight. One side of the earth. I am writing the answer. One side of the earth would always be in sunlight. The earth completes one revolution around the sun. Okay, so there is a time period. The duration of that revolution is given, that is in a month, in a day, in a year, or in a week. So students, so answer will be in a year. Okay, the earth completes its revolution in a year. Then student number 3, seasons change every year due to, students, as you know that now rainy season is going on, then winter season will arrive, then summer season, then once again the season. So that is a cycle of seasons. So why does it occurs? The answer is revolution of the earth and tilt of its axis. Then students, number 4, when do direct rays of the sun strike Srinagar, situated at 34 degree north? So there is a time given. Student, the first option is around June 21st, then September 23rd is the second option, third one is December 22nd, and fourth one is never. So answer is June 21st. Okay, friends. So this is all your MCQs all about. Then students, will come across the answer the following. Okay. Then this is option B. Then option C. In the section C, it is give reasons why. Okay. But first of all, we'll come across the answer the following. Why are days and nights unequal in length? Yes, it's true. Days and nights are not exactly same the whole year, throughout the year we can say. Answer is The days and nights are unusual in duration because the earth is rotating on a tilted axis. Tilted means थोड़ा झुका हुआ, okay, little bit bent, at an angle of 23.5 degree from the perpendicular. The difference between the duration of days and nights increases as one moves away from the equator. When you move in the equator, the largest circle encompassing the earth is, that is called imaginary line, that is called equator. When you move away from the equator, okay, on both the sides, the length of days and nights become unequal. Okay, students. Then student, the next question is, what is the circle of illumination? This is an interesting question, student. You must listen it carefully. The earth receives light from the sun. We all know that earth don't have their own heat and light. The sun rays fall straight on the spherical earth. Thus, only half of it gets the light from the sun at a time and has day, while the other time remains dark and has night. The circle dividing the day from the night is called the circle of illumination. The circle which divides the day from the night is called the circle of illumination. Then students, the third question is, what is a leap year? Leap year, you know students, the year 2020 is a leap year. Why it is called a leap year? We will study now. The earth completes its one revolution around the sun in how many days, students? 365 days, but some hours are also included, that is 6 hours, means 1/4 day. We take the year to be 365 days duration, setting aside 6 hours every year. So once 4 year completes, the 6 hours multiplied by 4, it becomes 24 hours. So in every 4 years, okay, there are 6 hours which add up to 24 hours or 1 day after 4 years. This extra day is added to the month of February in every 4th year, making it a year of 366 days or a leap year. Therefore, students, in the month of 2020 or 2024, 2016, 2012, okay, this type of years, 2024, 2028, February has 29 days, making 1 day extra to a single year. Okay, students. Then we will move to option C, give reason. Students, now we will come to section C, give reasons why. So there are some statements given. Then we have to justify the statement, that why is it possible. The first one is, students, in summer the sun can be seen in the sky even at dinner time in parts of Europe and Canada. Just listen why it is possible. I will repeat the question once again. In summer the sun can be seen in the sky. Okay, even at dinner time, means what at one time we take the dinner in the night time. So in the dinner time also we can see the sun. In some parts of Europe and Canada. Why? What is the reason? Explain. So the reason is, students, Europe and Canada lie in the northern hemisphere of the earth. Okay, students, we all know that Europe and Canada lie in the northern side of the hemisphere. And we also know that Earth's axis is tilted at an angle of 66.5 degrees. Thus, when the North Pole is tilted towards the sun, a larger part of the northern hemisphere is lit by it. Okay, students. So when the North Pole is somewhat tilted towards the sun, it is lit by the sun. Thus, each place in the northern hemisphere comes in front of the sun early and stays there longer. Each part of the northern hemisphere stays longer, and the sunlight also is also there for a longer period of time. This leads to longer days and shorter nights in the northern hemisphere during this period. Okay, this leads to longer days and shorter nights in this stage of time. Okay. Very easy, students. Then the next one is, why are seasons in the northern hemisphere different from those in the southern hemisphere? Why the seasons in the northern hemisphere is different from the southern hemispheres? So the answer will be, the Earth's axis is tilted at an angle of 66.5 degree while revolving, when the north pole of the earth is tilted towards the sun, it receives more of the sun for longer hours, and it is the summer season in the northern hemisphere. At the same time, the southern hemisphere is tilted away from the sun. The southern hemisphere experiences winter with less of sun for less number of hours. Okay, students. So, what happens? The Earth's axis is tilted at an angle of 66.5 degrees. We all know that I have told you earlier in the first one. While revolving, when the north pole of the Earth is tilted towards the sun, it receives more of the sun for longer hours. And in the most of the part of the northern hemisphere, it is summer season. At the same time, the southern hemisphere is tilted away from the sun. The southern hemisphere experiences winter with less of sun for less number of hours. Okay. Then the third one. Students, what is the third one? Days and nights are equal all over the world on 21st March and 27th September. Students, this is called the equinox. Okay, students, this is called the equinox. The Earth's position in the orbit is directly opposite to the sun at 2 points. When this happens, exactly one half of the Earth faces the sun, while the other half is in darkness, resulting in equal days and nights all over the world. So, this phenomenon, or the days on which this phenomenon occurs, are referred to as the equinox. So, the equinox, students, I will write days and nights. 21st March and on or near 22nd September. March and 22nd September. 21st March and 22nd September. So this is called the equinox. Then students, the last one we will come across, that Nairobi and Singapore have 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night throughout the year. So these particular two places. Nairobi is the capital of Kenya and Singapore is also a country itself. Okay. So are very close to the equator. So Nairobi and Singapore have 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night throughout the year. Why is it possible, students? I am writing here answer number 4. Nairobi and Singapore are Nairobi and Singapore are very close to the equator, where there is least effect of the tilted extreme. Of the Earth. Okay. Then, as a result, places near the equator receive the sun almost for 12 hours throughout the year. Students, the answer is Why Nairobi and Singapore have 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night throughout the year? The answer is, students, Nairobi and Singapore are very close to the equator. Okay, where there is least effect of the tilted axis. Least effect means very less effect of the earth. As a result, the places near the equator receive the sun almost for 12 hours throughout the year, maximum time. Therefore, the students, as we have completed the chapter number 3, rotation and revolution, we'll start a new chapter here. Chapter number 5. Chapter number 4, maths is not in your course. So, chapter number 5, realms of the earth. So, what is the chapter all about? It is all about the different parts of the earth, how it has been divided. We'll come to the exercise section. The first one is fill in the blanks. Okay, there are two options given. The dash portion of the earth is called lithosphere. The dash portion of the earth is called lithosphere. Okay, students. So, what happens here? The answer will be liquid, solid. Two options are given. The solid, the land surface, we can see. Okay, the second one, the atmosphere is dash near the earth. The options given are dense and thin, it will be dense. Okay. Then students, question answer section comes. So what is there? The first one is, why do mountaineers carry oxygen cylinders with them? Students, in the chapter, or generally, if you will move to a higher places, so suppose, let us take an example of Nopada. Nopada is a plain area, and let us take an example of some hill station. Okay, you may have gone to some hill station like Ooty, Nainital, Darjeeling, Mount Abu, Coorg. So these are some of the famous hill stations of our country. If you go there, this types of cities or towns are situated at a high altitude area, means higher area, which is thousands of feet above the sea level. So when you will go there, you will find the lack of oxygen. So the mountains which are very high, suppose take an example of Mount Everest, Kanchenjunga. Okay, it is very high. When you go up, you take oxygen cylinder with them. So why? What is the reason? Students, the air is denser near the earth as one moves away from the earth. Okay, the density of air decreases. Students, when you move away from the earth, the density of air decreases, but is nearer to the atmosphere, near the earth. Denser. The amount of oxygen also reduces as oxygen is a heavy gas. That is why it becomes different to breathe as one goes higher and higher. So when you go higher and higher, you get you feel the lack of oxygen, and it is totally difficult for us to breathe. So the mountaineers have to carry oxygen cylinders with them. Okay. Then student, second one is, how is atmosphere useful to us? Describe its structure. Student, the first one is, the atmosphere is divided into 5 layers based on the composition, temperature and other properties. Okay, let me write that 5 divisions of atmosphere. So I am just writing it randomly, it is not just in a serial manner. From bottom to top, it is in the order. First one is troposphere. Second one is stratosphere. Third one is mesosphere. Fourth one is ionosphere. Exosphere. Students, it is from bottom to top. Okay. First one is troposphere, so I have to explain it. First one is troposphere, students. It is the lowest layer of the atmosphere, closest to the Earth's surface. It extends up to 18 km from the surface of the Earth. It is 18 kilometers. It is the troposphere. Then all weather phenomena occur in this layer. Aircrafts also fly in this layer. Students, just imagine that from the layer of the Earth 18 kilometers above, how much it will be. Okay, the second one is stratosphere. This layer is above the troposphere and free from clouds and other weather phenomena. Means the clouds are not higher up in the sky. So stratosphere is different. Means it is free from this type of weather phenomena. Ozone gas, which protects us from ultraviolet radiations, is present in this layer. It is also called ozonosphere. Okay, it is also known as the ozonosphere. Number 3, mesosphere. This layer stretches from 50 km to 80 km above the Earth's surface. Okay, this layer extends from 50 km to 80 km above the Earth's surface. It is here that rocks entering the atmosphere, meteoroids, they burn out in this mesosphere. Then student, the fourth one, ionosphere. It is present above the mesosphere and contains electrically charged ions. These ions reflect radio waves to the Earth. So radio waves, so it goes higher in the ionosphere. Therefore, it is known as ionosphere. The fifth one is the uppermost layer of the Earth. That is called the exosphere. It is more than 1000 km thick. Scientists have not been able to collect any details about it. So just listen, students. By road, if you go to 1000 kilometers, it is how much distance? So in upper side, how it will be difficult that the scientists also are unable to collect the data. Okay. The second part of the question, describe its structure. Okay. The sun is a source of heat and light for the entire solar system. We know it very well. Insolation is the incoming solar radiation received by the Earth. Then the sun's rays hit the Earth, and the Earth above the Earth is in turn heated by the heated surface of the Earth. So this is a regular process. Then, therefore, the Earth is warmer near the Earth, and its temperature decreases with increasing latitude. So altitude means height. So when you go up, the temperature decreases with increasing height. Therefore, students, especially in hill stations, the climate is always cold there. Okay. Then, students, the next is describe the water cycle. Okay, number 3. Students, as the atmosphere absorbs the heat and light received from the sun, it keeps the earth warm. Due to the warm temperature, the water gets evaporated from the earth. Water evaporated from rivers, seas and oceans turns into water vapor. This vapor condenses to form clouds and leads to all forms of precipitation on the earth. The various forms of precipitation are rainfall. Students, precipitation means the amount of water, you can say, which falls from in different forms. That is called precipitation, like rainfall, snowfall, fog, etc., etc. This water cycle takes place in the atmosphere. Okay, then students, the fourth one is, why is it necessary to protect the environment? Number 4. Okay. Number 4 is, why is it necessary to protect the environment? It is extremely important to protect the environment so that the life on the earth can sustain. It is very necessary to protect the earth because life cannot sustain without some of the important surviving elements. The global warming is affecting the environment as well as the human beings. The rise in average temperature could play havoc with the weather cycles on Earth. It is leading to decreasing snow cover and rising sea level, which further leads to flooding of coastal areas. Frequent flooding of densely populated areas would be a big liability for any nation, requiring massive sums of money for rehabilitation of the affected populations. Global warming will also have its effect on the ecosystem. There could be certain species which could face extinction as their habitats will be in danger. Okay. Therefore, global warming, student, is a danger for all the living organisms of the earth. It also has a negative effect on the ecosystem. There could be certain species which could face extinction. Extinction means, students, they will totally die. We can't see their next generations, and habitats will also be in danger. So, students, the fifth one is explaining hydrosphere and the lithosphere. Students, now we'll come to the question number 5, the last one. Explain hydrosphere and lithosphere. So, what is hydrosphere and what is lithosphere? So, hydrosphere is it consists of water in all its form. Okay, the water bodies along the surface of the earth. We all know that water has covered 71% of the earth, and 29% is the land surface. So the earth is known as a blue planet due to the presence of water. From space also we can see the color blue of the planet due to the presence of water in large number. Large quantity, I can say, not number. About 71% of the earth is water and the rest is land. The presence of water distinguishes it from all other planets. The oceans, the seas, the lakes, the rivers, the ponds, ice on glaciers, underground water, and the water vapor in the atmosphere all make up the hydrosphere. It is the basis of life on the earth. The hydrosphere is always in motion in rivers, streams, lakes and ponds, or in the ocean. Fresh water is only 0.03% of the total available water on the surface of the earth. Okay, fresh water is very less. If we compare to 71%, fresh water is very less. 97% is water is not drinkable. Okay. Then, friends, we'll come to the lithosphere section. Students, the lithosphere, the word lithos is a Greek word which means rock. Is the upper crust of the surface of the earth. It consists of rock materials. The land portion of the earth is a large land masses known as continents, generally separated by oceans. The level of sea water remains constant or same everywhere. Elevation of land is measured from the sea level, which is considered to be zero. Lithosphere consists of 7 continents. Namely, so what are the 7 continents, students? We have already studied in the chapter. The first one is Asia, Europe, North America, South America, Africa, Australia, Antarctica. So these are the 7 continents of the earth. Students, then what are the continents all about? Asia is as we all know, that the largest and most populous of all continents. It lies in the eastern hemisphere. It is the highest mountain ranges of the world. Students, we know that the 2 most populous countries of the world, that is China and India, they both are located in Asia. Second one is Europe and Asia are continuous land masses separated by the Ural Mountains. Students, the Europe and Asia are separated by the Ural Mountains. They are sometimes referred to as one continent, that is called Eurasia, means both Europe and Asia. Eurasia. Africa is the second largest continent. Half of it lies in the northern hemisphere and half of it in the southern hemisphere. Students, look. The African continent is divided into 2 hemispheres. Equator passes through the continent. Half of it lies in the northern hemisphere and half in the southern hemisphere. World's largest hot desert, the Sahara Desert, lies in Africa. It covers near about 11 countries. Therefore, it is the largest desert in the world. Then, students, South America is both temperate and tropical. The vast Amazon and its tributaries with dense equatorial forest spread over most of the northern part. The world's longest mountain chain, that is the Andes, runs through north to south. Then student, the island continent, Australia is called the island continent. Why student? Because it is totally covered by water, by all the sides. That is called an island. Then southeast, it lies to the southeast of Asia, entirely in the southern hemisphere, and it is the largest landmass in the Pacific. Antarctica lies far away from all the other landforms of the earth around the South Pole and remains permanently frozen throughout the year. It is larger, just look, it is larger than the combined area of Europe and Australia. Okay, it is large in area, but there is totally covered with ice. Students, this was the answer the following all about. Then there is a crossword puzzle that I will just write the answer options here. Across and down. The first one is students, number 1, in across, this continent has the maximum number of countries. Okay. Next student, number 2. Number 2 is in the down section, so there is number 1 also in down section. The first one is in down, the continent around the South Pole, that is Antarctica. Then second one, okay, second one is in down section. The busiest ocean, that is the Atlantic Ocean. The Atlantic Ocean. Next students, number 3. Number 3 is in the across section, the deepest ocean. There is the answer is Pacific. Then we will come to number 4. Number 4, they have both of the sides, across and down. The first one is the layer of air surrounding the earth, that is the atmosphere. Then when it comes to the down section, number 4 is the continent without any permanent human population, that is called Antarctica. Then student, number 5, the island continent. It is very easy, it is Australia. Number 5. Okay, so then number 6, this ocean surrounds the North Pole. Okay, in the down section, number 6, Arctic. Then student, number 7, then the largest continent in the down section is Asia. Then student, we will move to number 8. Is probably the last one. The only ocean named after a country. This is very easy. This is the Indian Ocean. Students, I haven't drawn the crossword. I have just written the answers in the across and down sections. I hope you would have understood the video. So while watching the video, please refer to the textbook. Then only you can have a idea about the answers. So thank you, students. Thank you, students. We'll meet tomorrow. Thank you for today. Have a nice day.